Well, hello there. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, my name's Richard. I'm an outdoor photographer from Dublin on the east coast of Ireland. I like to do photography vlogs, gear reviews, tips and tricks, all that sort of good stuff. I've just completed a 7-day photographic workshop here in Iceland. And in this short video, I'm just go through some details that might help you if you're planning such a trip or even any trip, but especially a photography trip to Iceland. I'm just going to cover my flights, the gear I brought, the clothes I got, what my impressions of the roads were, and some of the locations went in. It's going to be very brief, but there might be some nuggets in here that will help you in your planning. Okay, let's get into it. So obviously I flew into the international airport here in Reykjavik, KEF airport. It's a 45-minute taxi drive or 45-minute bus drive from the city centre. I got a camper van and it included a collection. So I actually got picked up and brought into Reykjavik, but taxis super expensive here. If you want to get a taxi from the airport into Reykjavik, it's 150 euros. The bus is about 27 or 30 euro. So, you know, probably the bus would be an option for most people, but it's an excellent airport. It's very, very new, really smooth. I had zero issues in the airport at all. Really fine airport, but just be prepared for steep taxi fares. Okay, so I flew over here on the 28th of June. I flew from Dublin on Play Air. I brought 3 bags with me. I brought a 20 kg, a 10 kg carry-on, and then a personal item. And that was all my allowance was, and was fairly tight for the gear I needed to bring or I wanted to bring. So obviously I was coming for a week to do photography, so I wanted to bring, you know, all the necessities. If you can get more carry-on allowance, I would certainly try to, but that was all that was offered up to me when I was booking the flights. Photography gears wise, I brought my large photography camera bag and I stuffed it to the max with 10 kgs, which was the limit. So I brought with me 2 camera bodies, 4 lenses, and filters, drone, all the batteries, all that sort of good stuff. Now, in hindsight, I only actually used 2 lenses the whole time I was here. I used a wide angle 16-35 and I used my telephoto. Mine is a 50-400, but you may use maybe a 70-200. And that's, you know, if I was doing it again, that's all I bring. I would have left the other 2 lenses at home. I didn't need them. Tripods, I brought 2 tripods because obviously I do video in for my YouTube channel. And again, I could have got away with just 1. So 1 tripod's more than enough. That would actually bring your weight down. So in hindsight, that's what I would have done. For outdoor shooting, I didn't know how cold it would get, how wet it would get. So really what I got is 2 pairs of wool kind of long johns or leggings to wear under my trousers. So obviously then 2 pairs of waterproof, you know, hiking trousers, good pair of hiking. So 2 pairs of them. I had 2 wool long sleeve shirts. I had 2 wool t-shirts, and then I had 2 fleeces. I had a down jacket and a really good rain jacket. That's all, and obviously socks. I had like maybe 3 or 4 pairs of wool socks, and that was the perfect clothes to bring. I mean, I was more than warm up. The temperatures didn't drop very much here at all. I was like warm most of the time, and I don't think I wore the down jacket once. So, and we were very lucky with the rain. We missed a lot of it, and so again, you know, but I would highly recommend something like that. Layers, it's all about layers out here, and a waterproof. I also brought a pair of waterproof outers. So again, I'd recommend you bring them. I didn't have to wear them. We were lucky. We avoided the showers. So warm hats as well, a couple of beanies, and that's it. Like, I mean, I brought gloves. I never needed to use them, and obviously hiking boots. Self-explanatory. A good pair of hiking boots. You know, use them in all the shoots. So that's really clothes-wise what you need, and then just some everyday clothes for maybe 1 or 2 changes of clothes for the rest of the week. But shooting-wise, that's the sort of clothes that you need to bring. So I was based in Vic on the south of the island for the 6-7 days here. It's a great location. It's a small to medium-sized town, but there's lots of accommodation there, lots of apartments. There's a couple of hotels, and there's obviously a very, very good campsite. I went the camping route. I hired out a camper from Cozy Campers, I believe they were called. And this isn't a plug, it's not sponsored by Cozy Campers, it's just who I picked. And it worked out very well. For me, it was a great option. It was perfect camper. It had, you know, double bed in the back, a sink, a fridge, you know, heating and all that. And I had zero problems with it. So that's the option I went with. Some of the people who were on the shoot with me, a lot of them were in the apartments and one or two of them were in the hotel. So overall, it worked out very well. Like for me, the camper hire cost about €2,200, including all the insurances and all the few extras. So it is pricey, but everything in Iceland is very, very pricey, and accommodation was even more expensive than that. A really bog standard basic car here is €1,000 for the week. Anything like four-wheel drive or anything like that's double that more, you know. You will need four-wheel drive to get to some locations. We were lucky enough in our party, a few of the people had four-wheel drive, so we got out to the, I think it's Tornak region. I'm saying it wrong, I'll put the name on the screen. Unbelievable, amazing, one of my favorite locations here. So I'm so glad I made it there. So if you want to hit up that location, you will need four-wheel drive. The roads that we travelled in Iceland were all, you know, absolutely fine. They were single lane both directions for the majority of the route on the ring road. You need to be aware there are speed cameras, especially around the Reykjavik area, so you really need to watch those speeds and be paying attention to road signs, because the speed limits are changing all the time. And then when you get out into the country, the speed limit goes from 50 kilometers through the towns to 70 to 90 kilometers is your maximum speed limit. The roads I found were really, we went out as far as Diamond Beach and the Glacial Lagoon, and all the way out there, the roads were, you know, generally very, very good. But sometimes the road surfaces change, so you need to be aware. And you know, like traveling anywhere, you need to concentrate, and there are a lot of long drives. So if you have the opportunity to split the drive up with someone else, that's the thing to do. We did a huge amount of driving here. We were doing 4 hours every day easily on average. And another thing to note is all the locations, all your waterfalls, of which there are many, your glacial lagoons, your glaciers, all of these places, they'll all have car parks, but they all have a system in place. You have to download an app called parka.is, I think it is. And there's a fee every time you use the car parks. And again, fees are expensive. So you pull in, it's generally 1,000 ISK thereabouts to park, and that will cover you until midnight that day. And there's a camera system in place that's recording registers apparently coming in now. I don't know how you know accurate it is, but that's how it works. So you know, you could find yourself going to 2 or 3 locations in a day, and those parking fees add up. So expect to pay a good bit in parking fees. You could be paying up to 20 or 30 euros a day just to visit locations. Like I've said numerous times in this video, and I'm sure you're all well aware, Iceland is really expensive. And that's somebody coming from Ireland, which is one of the most expensive countries in Europe. This is a whole nother level. Everything costs about double what I would pay at home. Like I said, taxis are hugely expensive, and the same goes for food and drink. Like when I arrived, I went to the bonus shop in Reykjavik, and I did a big shop of everything I thought I'd need for the camper van. You know, bread, milk, groceries, just general bits and bobs. As it turned out, I bought way too much. I ended up, you know, leaving loads of food in the campsite for everyone else, like cans of beans and things like that. So really plan, if you're doing a camping trip, make sure you plan what food you need, and don't overbuy like I did. There are good shops in Vik and in a few of the other towns, but you will pay more. So maybe pick up the necessities in Reykjavik, but be prepared for steep prices. For instance, in the restaurants, I bought a pizza. It was about 20, 25 euros. I paid 40 euros for a burger, chips, and a beer. So you know, they're the sort of prices that you're paying. And food and drink is all excellent. It's really, really good, but it is pricey, and so just be aware. For our shoots, we were doing all our shoots at night time, which I highly recommend. Obviously, it doesn't get dark here during the summer. It's bright all day long. At 12 o'clock at night, it's just like dusk. It's still very, very, you know, bright. There's lots of light out there still. So we were shooting from about 9 at night to about 4, 5, 6 in the morning. And I can't recommend that enough if you're planning a photography trip here, to try and get those hours in at least a couple of the days you're here, because all the locations you go to are very busy with tourists and with photographers everywhere, and they all disappear after around 10 o'clock. So you'll have the locations to yourselves there, and it's so much better, and the light is so much better. So they were the hours that we did. Well, look, I've covered some of the topics there that popped into my mind and things that might be of help to some of you out there. And if you have any questions or you have any queries, just drop a comment. And if you like the video, hit a like. And if you really like it, well, consider subscription. Just in case you're wondering, this amazing building behind me is the National Concert Hall here in Reykjavik. And it's stunning. If you're in Reykjavik, get down here and get a few shots of it. It's by far my most favorite building I've seen in Iceland. It's absolutely cracking. But anywho, like I said, my name's Richard. I'm a photographer from Ireland, and sure, look it, I'm going to go now. Love yous and leave yous, and I'll see you in the next video, probably in a week or two. Okay, bye-bye.